I'll give you one guess what this project is about. Yes, it's installing a door handle. And I'm not quite sure which paddle handle. This is called a paddle handle. Which kind of paddle handle I'm going to be installing. Here's the old paddle handle. We're going to take this off. This one's still working, but Mommy, she didn't like the bright brass handles or the deadbolts or the hinges. So when we moved in here, after I painted, we put in nickel finished hinges and nickel finished door handles. So we're going to take this one off and we're going to make the decision which one of these to install. After that, the next video after that is installing this deadbolt. Okay? If you want to watch me take this old handle off and figure out, we've got to figure out which one of these to put in, stick around. That's what this video series is about. Now you might be saying, what do you mean, Joe? Which handle to put in? Just put the same like for like. This is a keyed entry. It's got the thumb turn on the other side, and that's what this one is. See, it's called key entry. This one's called hall and closet. Why on earth would you put a hall and closet on your door going into the garage? A hall and closet means it doesn't have anything. It's for a hall and closet door. This is a closet downstairs that goes underneath the stairwell, and it's called hall and closet. Most people call it a passage handle. Why would you suppose I might put a passage handle there? Well, there's a couple reasons that I might end up doing that, and I have a feeling that's what I'm going to do. But at the time, I wasn't quite sure. Let's just talk about this. Let's just talk about this first. Now see, this is the old knob. Right now it's unlocked. Now for me to lock it, I would have to turn this thumb turn like that, and this is locked. Now on lots of doors, when you turn this, push this handle down, it should pop this open, and that way make this lock so it's unlocked from here on out. But see here, that thumb turn didn't pop out, didn't do anything, did it? So this, you can open the door, but look, out here it's still locked. So if you were to go out into the garage, let's say, and if you didn't have your keys with you, and if you didn't have the thumb turn turned to the unlock, when you go out there, you lock yourself out. I don't want that. That's something. So anytime you want this door unlocked, you have to have that going straight up and down, and this never pops out. And so now this handle will be left in the unlocked position. Well, first off, I'm not quite sure if this new locking handle is like that, because see, here's the thumb turn, and I don't know if that pops out or not. I'm going to check it out here in a minute. And here's the other thing I drove around the other day for your benefit as well as mine, because if I would put a locking lever on it, I've still got the deadbolt that I want to install. I always want to put the deadbolt in here. Well, now I've got a deadbolt with one set of keys, and the lock at the bottom one set of keys, and generally they don't match up. Well, sometimes at the store, they used to anyways, years ago, they used to have, see that number right there? If you get a corresponding number over here, then you know both of these are keyed the same. And see, this says match number for key to like. Match number for key to like, I guess. And this one says the same type of thing. Okay, and obviously we know those numbers aren't the same. 41220-25775. So I went back to the store and I thought, hey, maybe I can find both of these with the same numbers, so that once I get it installed, I don't have to have a locksmith come out to the house. If you have a locksmith come out to your house it's probably going to set you back $65 to $75, maybe more, depending where you live and how much they charge around your area. Okay, I very seldom do that. I would put these in, and then I'd take one of these back out, and then I would take it to a hardware store with the other key and have them keyed the same, and that might cost me less than 20 bucks to do that, as opposed to having somebody come out to my house for 75 bucks. You see what I mean? And so I could do that. Well, I drove around to a few different stores to see if I could get matching, and no, nowadays well, for these particular ones they don't. The reason why these numbers, if you have three, let's say you have 3 doors, and on your front door you want to put one of these. On your door between your house and your garage, you're going to put the same one. And in the garage, maybe you have an exterior door that goes outside on the side of the garage, and maybe you want all 3 of those to be keyed the same. Then generally you can find the same numbers at the store. You would find 3 of these handles, these keyed entries, 25775. Okay, and you could do it that way. Or the same thing, if you have 2 or 3 deadbolts, let's say you have 3 deadbolts, one on the front door, one here, and one on your side door. Make sure you get all 3 deadbolts with the same number. Okay, there's a tip for you. And then it doesn't cost you anything because everything's keyed. Well, I couldn't find anything the same, and believe it or not, most garage doors, I don't know, well, maybe 70% of garage doors will have just a regular handle here with no lock and just the deadbolt. If you have 2 things, you don't necessarily need a lock here and a lock there. You could just put a passage handle there, and that's what I think I'm going to do. Is just put the passage handle. Then I don't even have to mess with wondering if this thing's going to pop in and out, take it to the store and get it rekeyed to my deadbolt. I don't have to do anything, do I? I just have the keyed deadbolt, and that's it. Okay, so I think that's what I'm going to do here. All right, so what is my next step? My next step is to take this one out, and I'm including that into my video. It's real easy to take these out. I'll show you how next. Oh, before I do that, before I do that, I want to show you one more thing that's very important to realize on these doors. If I were to have kept this type of lock on here, the latch has a little button, little slide on the outside of the latch. That's because this is a locked one. I want to make sure I've got this unlocked. Okay, so this part here wouldn't fit inside your strike plate. Okay, let's look at the strike plate here for a second. That little part that slides would set on the face of here. It would set right there, and the rest of the latch fits in here. You don't want the whole thing to fit in this pocket. Okay, I'm going to show you, I'm going to explain to you why right now, why you don't want to do that. And I'm explaining that to you because if you were to decide to leave a locking lever on the bottom as well as a deadbolt on the top, let's just see what's going to happen here if we do that. Okay, if I were to leave this on here or install a new one with the same little slide, and this slide only comes, this little piece only comes on a latch with a keyed lock. Okay, you don't need this little thing if this was a passage handle. Let's look on this other door. Let's look on this door. Remember, this is a passage handle. This is a closet hall handle. See this? See this latch? There's no little slide goodie there, is there? We don't need one. We don't need one there because this is not a locking lever handle. And the reason why you need that for locking lever handle, yeah, I'm getting there, is this little bit here fits on the top of your strike plate. That way, this slides in like that. The rest of this pops into the strike plate. Okay, that way somebody can't come in from the other side with a pocket knife, a putty knife, a credit card, and push this open, because this keeps this from pushing back. See, when I push this in, I only have to push that in, oh, 1/8 of an inch, 3/16. See, if I just push it in 1/16, I can still push this all the way in, like that. But if I push this in 1/8, a little bit more than 1/8, see? It won't push in. Thereby, a pocket knife, putty knife is not going to slip in from the other side and push this open and have somebody get in. Do you see what I mean? And the reason why I'm explaining that is because since this is an exterior door with the weather stripping around it, and this one's got weather stripping because it goes out into the garage. It's just got a nice piece of weather stripping along it. I installed that before. Okay, and then you got your threshold here, then you got a door. I just installed this door shoe, and it's got weather stripping at the bottom with little feelers on there, so that when you close the door, the bottom of the door, no air penetration at the bottom, no air penetration on the sides, on the top, or any of that, okay? And so, if I were to keep this latch here, this is where it closes, right there. That closes into there, and I can tell that the little pin is on the outside of here. But this is not sealed very well unless I push in further. See how sloppy it is? And it's sloppy like that because whoever installed this strike plate should have installed the strike plate over closer this way, maybe 1/8 inch closer. Now there is a little paddle in there. See this paddle? You undo the latch, the strike plate. Take a pair of pliers, put this in your hands, bend it out, bend it that way, and that'll push your door. That'll push your door up closer to this. Okay. And don't get fooled. Don't think, okay, I'll just push this in further. That's where the first is. But if I push it in all the way, that means this little nib, this nib here will then fit into that strike plate. See how it clicked like that? See how much tighter that is? It's still slightly off. See? But it's not there. It's not that far. See, without that tab in there. If I push hard, it'll click in there. The tab, the pin will click all the way in there. And you may think, okay, I'll just adjust it that way. Well, now if this door was locked in the locked position, I could go on the other side with a credit card, putty knife, whatever, and I can pop the door open. Because when this whole thing goes in to the strike plate, now I could push the whole thing back, see, with the putty knife, because this little prong tip thing, this deal here, is not on the outside edge of the strike plate. You see what I mean? Generally it'll be right on the face of this strike plate right there. And the rest of it will be in there. You don't want the whole thing in. Okay? So if you do keep something like that, and if I wanted it closer with this door, what I would do is take the strike plate off and take this over probably another 1/8 of an inch or so. And then I may still have to adjust with that paddle. That paddle in there. That paddle, I can only move it out a little bit. I could get the door closer, but I'm probably not going to get it as close as I want, as I should. Because if you put this out too much of an angle, 45-degree angle, then you have a chance of it not really keeping the latch part in all the way into that strike plate. Do you see what I mean? If you were to be on the outside, or if this thing closes and it barely closed, you could grab it here and just pull on it and it would pop right out of that because that paddle is in there too far on the strike plate. Okay, I hope you're following all that. But I'm explaining that because I'm not going to put another one of these in. I'm just going to put in the hall closet one, the passage one, that does not have this, okay? So because it doesn't have this, I don't have to, first off, I don't have to worry about that little pin. And so once I put the new one in, more than likely, I'm gonna have to do the same thing. Take this, slide it over, maybe 1/8 of an inch. We'll just have to see, because the new latch with privacy ones, I don't know if the position is exactly the same as this one. This edge could be out towards me just a hair further, so when I push it in there, it may not be so sloppy. Okay, a few things to think about when you get ready to adjust your door that has weather stripping on it. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take this out. I'm just going to kind of position myself here, making sure that you can see. Yeah, you can see that. There's only 2 screws right here that I got to take out. And I always do it by hand. You know, it doesn't really take that long. And I'm kind of holding this together so this doesn't pop off and drop and scratch my door and all that kind of stuff. Okay. Oh, screws in there quite far. Okay. And if I'm using a little screwdriver, instead of going boom, 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 I may hold it here and just take my fingers and spin it up here, see? And that goes faster than using my screwdriver paddle in. Okay, now I'm just simply going to pull this apart like that. And I'm going to remember how this goes. I'm going to set this down on the ground exactly like this, because when I get done, I want to put this latch back in that handle, okay? And so it's just time to unscrew that there. I'm trying to do it so I'm out of your way, so I'm doing it lefty, even though I'm a right-handed person. Sometimes you have to do certain things with your left hand. Yeah, see this lock? I still have the keys for it, and maybe I can use it at somebody else's house or another project. And so I'm gonna keep this all together, and I'm gonna put it all back together just the way it was before. That being on the outside. There's a little slot in there. Sometimes you gotta hold your mouth just right to get it back in there. But you know, it takes just a couple more minutes to put it all back together. I used to just throw it all in a box. But then later on, you got to fish for the screws, and maybe you forget how it fits in there. And so I'll even do this tight, because if you don't, this falls apart. This could kind of come out of the groove and get messed up if somebody stepped on it or whatever. Then I can store it up in the attic with all my other stuff and be done with it for now. Okay, you go back and look and see how much longer it took me to be careful with this to put it back together. What is it? 3 minutes out of your life to just do it like that? And then these screws, I can just set them like that for now and be careful with it. And that goes back up in the attic, okay? That part of my project I can mark off my list, and I can get ready I want to look at these other handles, and I'm pretty sure I know which paddle handle I'm going to install. That's next.